what is the objective of US economic statecraft?
The primary objective is to alter the decisions of other states, other jurisdictions. So in the case of an adversary like in Iran or North Korea, the purpose of economic pressure is to get them to come to the table and ultimately relinquish their nuclear weapons program, for example. In other cases, sometimes these tools are used to punish or to express symbolic, rhetorical concerns, objections, but I would say the primary case for economic statecraft is to change behavior.
Thank you. Under what conditions is US economic statecraft effective?
It's more effective than I think many people recognize, in that the US preeminence with respect to our currency, our banking system, the US as an investment market, is so great that a threat to cut off a foreign company, a foreign individual from that really is a threat to cut them off from the international financial system. And so US sanctions carry a lot of weight. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to be effective in securing their ultimate purpose. So if you look at Russia's incursion into eastern Ukraine, for example, the EU and the US imposed a host of financial and debt and equity sanctions, as well as energy sanctions, that carried a substantial blow. But if you're going to look at their ultimate success, you would have to say, has Russia complied with the Minsk II process? And the answer, as we're talking, is not yet.
Thank you. And what are the negative impacts of US economic statecraft?
So there can be negative impacts of a few different types. One is if you're looking at the target country, one always tries to minimize the harm on the innocent population. Typically, sanctions are being used to affect the decision makers, which tends to be the government or the regime in charge, and maybe a small circle of elites or oligarchs around them. The US has, in recent years, increasingly used targeted sanctions to try to go after those individuals whose behavior we're trying to shape and avoid, where possible, hurting the innocent population. But in major controversies, in major situations, typically the sanctions have intensified to the point where they really are imposing costs on a country at large. One also has to remember that the sending country, if it's the US imposing sanctions, the US is forgoing business, and US companies are losing out on trade. And there may be actors in third countries who can't do business that they otherwise would have done. So there are costs and unintended costs anytime you're using an instrument as complex and as powerful as sanctions.